Chiron?
It's time to really start talking, people, isn't it? Welcome to Self Mastery, another co read spread with the most awesome Jordan. And
Morning.
so do you want to introduce your new vibe here? It's a really cool spread. I'm kind of excited about it.
Absolutely. This is a self-healing guided spread. I named this spread the Chiron spread after Chiron, which is a point in our charts, in our natal charts. It points to the wounded healer within all of us. It's actually a comet, not a star, but it lies between Saturn and Uranus. So between the lesson and the future lies the comet point of where your essential wound may lay, and also where your ability to help others heal. So this spread is kind of designed around the energy of Chiron. Again, we're doing this as a general reading, you guys. So these energies may or may not apply to you. Use your intuition as always. Gary's going to open up the spread with the main energies, and I will be clarifying them one by one as we go.
We are here. Great introduction. You understand what's going on here. Some of the questions are really good. I've already meditated on the cards. I'm cutting my deck, my clarifying deck. I'm cutting it too, which I am not clarifying today, people. I'm just going to throw out the main vibe. And of course, Jordan's going to walk you through the button up sequence of it, which be grateful she is because I'm not as deep.
Well, this layout can go fairly deep because we are talking about healing and wounds. So just know that, people.
All right. So let's cut to me here. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the first question. The first question is, what cause of the deepest unhealed wound? What is the cause of your deepest unhealed wound? Whoa. And it's the Ace of Cups. Heavy, people. The cause of that. So basically, let me explain. Um, with the Ace of Cups here as your deepest unhealed wound, it means you put everything into that cup one time. You filled it, you nourished it. Look at how beautiful that cup is, too. See that cup? It's gorgeous. It was your whole life. You put everything into that specific container and something happened emotionally with it. It could have spilled over. It could have had a leak. You could have overfilled it. See, a lot of people never talk about this, and this is what I'm getting intuitively right now, is some people overfill the cup. It can't contain the emotion you put into it. Sometimes people run. Sometimes the fish get spooked because of all the new water overflowing and they get spooked and they swim away. What I'm getting here is this cuppeth run over. And that to me is the cause of this deep wound. And everybody loves the Ace of Cups, but that Ace of Cups filled with the wrong liquid could be poisonous and it may not be a good potion for you. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to switch to Jay. That's what I have.
Interesting. The clarification jumped out as you were talking there, G, and we have the Hierophant. Taurus's major arcana. So the Hierophant is about our belief systems and the kind of rules we commit ourselves to. It's the structures that we place into our lives. As well, it can be your own spiritual beliefs. So, with the Ace of Cups and the Hierophant being your deepest unfilled wound there, unhealed wound rather, the Hierophant comes in as like putting too much conviction behind what you believe love is, what you believe the amount of emotion needs to be offered into a situation. This could represent also a previous commitment. Perhaps there is a marriage here because the Hierophant is definitely a marriage card as well. So when we put that with the Ace of Cups, it's like putting way too much emotional energy into a commitment at some point in time.
About here, when I did say the cuppeth overfull, that's putting too much into a container that couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
That's what I got. And anyway, that's I'm sticking with that. All right, here we go again. So how has this wound evolved? And we're going to ask the universe, how has this wound evolved into what we're getting into? This deep wound. The Lover's card. Oh, oh. Jordan, you're split screen with me now. I do have the Lover's card. See, normally I'll be in full, but you're this is her card. She knows this card. She loves this card, this six. So how did this wound evolve? It was a decision. Two people trying to create something. You got the 3-3, which equals a six on the Lovers here, with this cuppeth that overflow. But that's the deal. It evolved through a decision, a choice that you have made. I never believe in good or bad choices or wrong or right choices. I believe that we make a decision and life unfolds before us. And then we walk that path. That's just me. But that's what I got there with the Lovers. And I'm going to cut to you now.
Well, again, what came out as you were talking, and it's interesting you said a decision that was made because clarifying the Lovers is another major arcana. We have Judgment card here. So there is definitely a decision that came to a point here. What I think is going on, what this wound of pouring too much into a certain commitment in your life, it's now evolved into the need to make a very difficult and heartfelt choice. And that choice is involved here in the Judgment card. This is definitely about a commitment. And the Judgment card is about leaving things in the past so that you can expand into your present or into your future. Scorpio and Sagittarius energy here. So with the Lovers card, the Lovers in tarot is known as the choice. There's a crossroads between leaving your past behind and stepping into your future. With the Judgment card, something is pulling at your heart, and that's where you're at now as a result of having put way too much emotional energy into something in your past that didn't yield what you wanted it to yield.
Through our wounds and we're waiting for healing. Normally, hurt people, they try to shield their wounds. They try to hide them from people. No one, the people sometimes think no one likes a damaged person or no one likes a hurt person. You feel like you're throwing off some bad energy or whatever. But the next question we have here is, what do you use to shield that wound? A lot of people use uh, alcohol, drugs, overeating, overexercising, dangerous activity to shield from these wounds. And we're going to ask the universe here, universe, what do they use? And we have this beautiful eight of pentacles. Mm.
Mm.
Now I like that. Now let me tell you something. Not only the eight of pentacles being one of my favorite cards, because I am very studious. I put a lot of energy into research and a lot of energy into learning and a lot of energy into study. Well, what I'm sensing here intuitively is what you use to shield it is to keep yourself busy. Now, with the eight, I'm going with the eight, and that eight is advancement. You're always advancing towards something. You never really stop to smell the roses. So by going and going and going, that keeps your mind busy. That keeps your emotions busy. That keeps all your things that you don't want to deal with busy. Once it's moving, you have that inertia. But as soon as you slow down with that, that's when it settles in. That's when the poison hits the wound. But if you keep busy, and again, look at this person, it's nighttime, studying by the night. Uh, that's someone that's really into that. Do you ever get sleep? Are you burning candles at both ends? That's the other thing I get with this, with the eight of coins. And that's what I'm sensing here. And yeah, you shield it. You shield it by keeping yourself busy. And that's a good thing, but it also can be, I don't know about you, Jordan, but it seems it can really keep you from reality. Just staying busy all the time, right?
Well, it's interesting you should say that, G, because what came out as a clarifier is the Ace of Swords, the truth, reality. What the sort of truth that causes you to now have to make that decision. I see that Eight of Pentacles as you kind of, as G said, shielding yourself behind the work, behind the things you can control, behind the physical proof that it's time for you to make a decision here, a heartfelt, difficult one. And it does have to do with your past. There's the sort of truth. You already know the truth about the situation and what you have to do, what you need to cut off. But it's like hiding behind the physical evidence of work. That's keeping things within your control.
On the next question, Jordan, on the release. So the next question, how do you release? Could you expound on that question we're asking? Tell me about that. Like before I pull, tell me about that release.
Well, how can you find the inner guidance to release what you're shielding yourself from, using to shield yourself? So instead of burying yourself away from the truth and the obviousness of the choice you're facing, now what can you do to release the feeling that you need to do that, basically? Have more faith.
And comes the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. Now, what we get here, so with the Queen of Pentacles, first of all, take a look at this. Nurturing, understanding. The Queen of Pentacles to me is Mother Goose. Nurturing, what I'm sensing here, and it's Pentacle land too. We also have Pentacle. Nurturing yourself. That's major. Not as much nurturing other things, but people, but nurturing yourself. Taking that time. I almost wish we had a Seven of Swords here, because that would really emphasize the fact that I'm sensing you totally need to chill out, stop the busyness, and just you're released by the Queen of Pentacles. And that could be hanging out with more family. That could be being with friends. That could be taking on other. I'm gonna go this far. That's taking other responsibilities on above yourself. Volunteer work, totally with the Queen of Pentacles here. Because when you start volunteering yourself to other things, it gets you off yourself. It gets you out of your problems. Because at this point with the Eight of Pentacles, it's all about me, 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 and my thing, me and my what I'm doing. When you go to the Queen of Pentacles, it now becomes how can I serve other people, which then gets your mind off of your issues. Eight of Pentacles is cool, but it's also kind of a selfish card where the Queen of Pentacles is more about giving and nurturing, which will help you release all this internal me stuff. What do you think?
I think that going back to the original cards that we drew, actually, because now that the Queen of Pentacles is showing up as a way to release your shield, I'm getting that there was a very strong emotional codependency vibe in your previous commitment. The Ace of Cups, although a beautiful card when it's in a challenging position, can point to emotional dependency. So with the Queen of Cups being what you need to be able to release your shield, self-nurturing, as G said, for sure, knowing that actually you can take care of yourself. The wound existed due to emotional codependency, and the Queen of Pentacles is definitely about having all of the skills and abilities you need to actually take care of yourself. You don't need that codependency. And what came out as a clarifier was death. Death and rebirth, Scorpio energy here, the transformation, allowing the transformation to occur. Basically, how you release it is by knowing that you're not the person you were when you initially experienced that emotional codependency that caused your pain. Now you have done the hard work of transmuting that into self care, into stability that you can create. And the death card is just simply saying that part of your life is over and it's now transmuting into something a lot more nurturing and independent.
I'm going to add something about codependency. A lot of people think that codependency, when you're codependent, it's you're actually serving that other person. No, you're serving yourself in codependency. That's about feeding your own ego. And that's what we get there a lot with the queen of the Queen of Pentacles. Doesn't She's not codependent, she's serving. She's a queen, she serves her people, especially in Pentacle land. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's like that change, that death of your old way to a new way.
Allowing that transformation to take place, because with this Ace of Swords you already know the truth about what's wounding you, and you're trying to run from that through work or through, perhaps you're pouring still too much effort into a situation that never yielded. That's potential with that 8 of Pentacles. You might be shielding your wound by thinking there's more you can do, putting more effort into that situation. That's
That's
possible. And with the Ace of Swords here, it's saying it's time to release death and rebirth.
and even working with codependency, it's like there's always more you can do for that person. There's always more you can do. Maybe if this time I get them coffee, they'll like me better. I don't know. Maybe they'll be happier if I buy bagels. It's that kind of thing. It's that,
Yeah.
yeah, you think you're advancing something, but you're really not. You're just staying up at night studying.
Yeah, and holding off this death and transformation energy, which is the key to releasing the wound.
So the next question we have is what is your healing gift to others? What is your healing gift to others? Card number 5. Oh my gosh. And we're in Pentacle Land, people. We got the 4 of Pentacles here. Whew. All right. Well, to me, let's start off. I'm going to go with the numerics first on this. Well, a healing gift is stability, but in Pentacles, it's stability with the common things, the normal things, the mundane things, or just the things that you have, and just being there, stability too. It's also called the card of the miser. I am rejecting that definition on this one in particular, because I think with we're dealing with pentacles. I think pentacles, you're worldly, you're good with money, you're good with the practical things. So being stable in that, that would be your gift in this. Now, keep in mind, in order for you to have obtained all that treasure, look at that ship. Back then, you did not go on ships without having money, without having knowledge, without having education, without understanding and studying who you are and where you're going to even be a part of that. So, the healing gift we have, I'm really surprised at the pentacles, but being stability and grounded. Now, being grounded doesn't mean being crazy on one side with codependency or dependent. It doesn't mean the opposite where you're neglectful. It means being stable and balanced. I wouldn't be surprised if we get the 6 of Pentacles here today. We already got the Judgment. So, what do you think on that? I'm feeling that.
Yeah, the stability is a big component there. And if we're taking it back to the reason why, basically, is what the healing gift you have to offer is comes out as the reason why you've had to experience this wound and why you've had to work through it, because now you have the ability and the knowledge to help other people who are going through a similar situation. And through it makes sense that that 4 of Pentacles is there because you're transforming into the Queen of Pentacles. Therefore, the gift you have to give is to show other people how to release emotional codependencies and stay stable in a very real way while they're doing so. We're talking about the difference between cups and pentacles here. So actually how to stay grounded, how to build your own stability, and how to work through that process of releasing emotional codependency. That's now the gift you have to give because you've been through this. And along with that came more pentacles, the 2 of Pentacles, basically saying the same thing, keeping your balance, knowing how to take care of your needs on a physical, practical level while that part of life transforms. So now you have the ability to teach people that, how to stay stable, what being
I'm very
grounded means.
surprised on how it's a pretty pentacle based reading. I'm very surprised, but I kind of like it because we need the groundedness of the pentacles in this. Because if all the cups, the swords would be too sharp right now, but the cups would be a little bit too emotional to handle this, and of course the wands would be just a little bit too much passion. You really want to be grounded with pentacles in this reading. I find
Especially
it,
since the source of the wound was a great big cup. So the last thing right
and
now
maybe
that
that
you need in your life is more cup. You need
well,
more
and
earth.
maybe that sword pierced that cup where the emotions bled. That's the other thing I'm sensing.
Hmm.
All right, so here's the next question. All right, so how can you use this gift? How can you use this gift? We all have gifts, spiritual gifts, gifts of just gifts of yourself. We talked about that kind of thing in a relationship. But how can you use this gift in the next position, which is number 6? And let me see here. I'm dropping cards left and right. This deck is so thick, it can't even fit in my little hands. All right. The Ten of Pentacles. I love that. How can you use this gift? Well, you look at that. You put your money away, you save, you store, you take all the other things and you collect it and you put it into a bundle and you're able to share it with it. And at this point, see, here's the greatest part about the Ten of Pentacles to me. You save and you store and you just collect. And you know what you do with this? You can buy one big butt pentacle after this with that new beginning. And that's what you got to take it's so self-evident to me that you have to be grounded, and I am sensing, I don't know why there's money involved in this, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's just there's this grounded vibe I have with this reading. And with the 10, it's the end. I just sense there's some money saved, or I don't know. What do you get out of this? Because every time I get to 10, that's the first thing. I'm a very pentacle based person anyway, so every time I get to 10, I'm like, you're saving for a house, saving for a car, saving for this, and you basically have it now. You have your little nest egg, so you could either invest it or you can, keep saving it to get something bigger. Get it. That's what do you
Yeah.
get?
It's amazing how many pentacles are showing up in this spread. That is the big key to this message, is being grounded for sure. Now, with the Ten of Pentacles falling in a way you can now use your gift, okay, what we know so far is where the gift came from, why you had to experience that wound, what you learned from that wound, what you have to offer others. Now, how can you actually use that gift in a practical way out in the world? With the Ten of Pentacles there, I totally agree with what G said, but let's also take that into a workplace. You can take what you've learned by your surviving of your pain and teach it to others. You can apply it in a position to show other people how to obtain that sense of stability you've now learned how to do. And clarifying that, we have the Lover's card again, Gemini's major arcana. So again, it's teaching people how to answer the call of their own heart despite the wounds, and how to stay grounded and solid in your own autonomy as you make that decision on a new path in life. With the Lovers attached to the Ten of Pentacles, you can also show people how answering to the call of your own heart is actually the most stable option that there is. Stack that up next to the Ace of Cups, and what we see is a whole lot more stability, right? So, actually, in choosing your heart, you can build the stability, and you know that now.
So you know all this, okay? You're seeing, you're sensing all this. So we ask ourselves, who or what can benefit from your new knowledge? See, this 10 of Pentacles, that's renowned. You've built up knowledge through this whole thing. So who could benefit or what could benefit from your new 10? And again, that's what I'm sensing here. And I'm saying the knowledge because you've been studious with the 8 of coins. Not sure it was healthy or, uber healthy, but you did learn. You have been learning. So I am going to stick with that. And again, uh, we got the 8 and the 8. So here we go. It's like you got the stability of the 4 of Pentacles. You double that, double stability, you get the 8, and you got that advancement. And now you're in 10 with all the knowledge you have. So I'm really playing off of that. So I'm going to ask the universe, who could benefit, or what could benefit from this? And with the Knight of Swords, that means you come marching in with the intellectual backbone now of all this knowledge and all this groundedness. With the Knight of Swords, you come in with that, swinging the truth sword around. He's holding that ace. but now you're putting it into action. What you've learned and what you have obtained is definitely something that now you could pass down. See, knights train other knights. Knights train squires to be knights and stuff like that. And every time I do get the knights in that, it is a part of maybe, as Jordan even said it, in the workplace. You have the opportunity now to train or to show or to bestow your knowledge onto somebody. And there's no better person than the Knight of Swords to bestow knowledge on. Could be a little abrasive sometimes, but not really, because knights mean business. Knights have been trained. Knights know. Especially with this one, you've got that eagle flying. And that represents massive strength, massive foresight, massive sight, you know? They could see mice miles away in a field. They're fast. And one thing about the eagle, too, they're uber loyal. And that's one thing I'm pulling off of this card now. Throughout this process, there's a loyalty aspect that has been built. Not sure if it's with yourself. I'm hoping it is, because a lot of our problems was we are not loyal to ourselves. We will betray ourselves left and right to make a situation better. And I did sense that with the lovers in that cup. There could have been a betrayal of your own self and your own emotion. And that's what I'm getting. So I'm going to leave it to you to wrap that up.
Okay. That's very interesting to get that Knight of Swords in a position of who or what needs to be healed. The Knight of Swords is a communicator for sure. That's so basically, I'm just going to get into what the clarifiers were before I wrap that up. We have the High Priestess clarifying the Knight of Swords. Very interesting. So, this is about teaching people how to follow their own intuition. When you get the Lover's card and that pull towards your own heart again, that comes on a deeply intuitive level. So, part of the gift you have to give is communicating to people how to find that within themselves, how to be able to communicate with their own intuition, because you've learned how, and you've learned how the hard way. We have the Seven of Cups. Also, I wanted another one for that. So it's about a clearing away of any kind of confusion that can keep you in a state of emotional dependency or emotional fluidity, let's say. And the Knight of Swords comes in and gets right down to the point. And teaching people how to communicate is a big thing here. The point I wanted to make about Chiron before we move into any oracle cards or wrap this up for you guys, Chiron lies between Saturn and Uranus. Saturn represents the lessons we've learned and our past. Uranus is the new vision and your future. Right in between there is Chiron, your karmic wound. So in order to pass through your lessons and get to your future, Chiron must be healed. The healing that you're doing is releasing emotional codependency. And in the future, that's going to allow you to teach other people the necessity of answering to their own heart and how to stay stable doing so.
I really like this reading.
It's very
I like healing readings, and I feel like again when I was giving you the main energy off the Knight of Swords here, there is a lesson of using truth and using strength and truth to get your point across or your next level in relationship. So that's what I did get from it.
Okay, I'm going to draw a couple of oracle cards just to close this off for you guys, whoever resonated with that reading. Remember, when you're watching general tarot readings, you don't necessarily resonate with every single message, but there could be something in there for you, being a part of the collective. From the wisdom of the oracle, what else do we have on this Chiron healing spread for whoever's resonating, please? Okay, I'm only going to take this one that flew out first. Co-create. Isn't that interesting? Because we are talking about applying your knowledge into a work, a profession, what you offer out to people. Co-create is also showing people how to work with their own intuition. And we got that down here with the Knight of Swords and the High Priestess. Okay, let's get one more. Anything else for whoever's resonating with this healing spread, please? Time for a nap. So this also points to that need to stay stable, to take care of yourself during this transitionary process. When death and rebirth are on the table, it's a very serious process. So this could be pointing, like I said, to the need to go within and keep yourself stable during this time.
Time for a nap too is also our seven of swords. I mean, our four of swords.
Our Four of Swords, that's
Yeah.
right. So again, allowing the pain and the lessons of what you've been through to integrate fully into you so that you can gain that stability.
Seven of swords too. I mean, think about it. That would work. What we have been reading today, couldn't that? I don't know why I just it hit pretty.
It actually really could, yeah. And all of a sudden, I need to draw an astrology card. Surprise, surprise. But my deck was calling to me. Star Codes Astro Oracle, we need an energy on this. This could be a sign or an energy in your birth chart, in someone around you, or just in the overall situation. Yeah. We have the second house. Taurus rules the second house, that Queen of Pentacles. It is about building your stability. It's about your job, your workplace, your money, your security. Ten of Pentacles. This is what you've learned through this process. The Queen of Pentacles owns this house. Taurus. Oh my gosh. And on the bottom of the deck, I see Taurus. Taurus is cardinal Venus. It's all about creating that stability for yourself. We have two cards of Taurus right here. Of course, we just left Taurus season, so that could be factoring. Oh my gosh, something just occurred to me. I'm sorry, I need to do a little bit because these two came out. I can't avoid it, you guys. Right now, we have Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, falling in exact conjunction with the North Node, which is your destined purpose. They're both in Taurus right now. So you are being called towards your destined purpose in this life. And that's the reason why you've had to go through this healing process. Your future is calling.
Where's Taurus fall in the Pentacle land, by the way?
Taurus, well, actually, the Queen of Pentacles, strictly speaking, is Capricorn energy, but Taurus would more be the page. But for me, the Queen and the King are all of the earth signs.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure on how because I've had readings before, but man, this is a Pentacle heavy. So
And it occurs to me, you guys, that back here we had in my clarifications, right? The first card out was the Hierophant, Taurus's major arcana. A lot of this has to do with your destiny and your future in terms of what you're being called to do, your soul's calling.
well, I've enjoyed reading for you today, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do this. Although I might have got some cards mixed up, but I'm normal. I'm a human being. And it was also fun to read with you again.
Always a pleasure, G. Thank you, guys. I know this is a very intense spread, but it's also one you can do at home for personal reasons.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys.